Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of AttractWell, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Welcome, everyone. We're really glad you're here today.
We're excited to have you here today. We're going to be talking about how to make content quick and easy using a swipe file. And if you're familiar with swipe files, you're going to want to watch this because we have taken it to another level to help this become an even more useful resource for you in your quest to create more content more regularly. But before we get into that, we've got an exciting announcement. If you are considering getting started with AttractWell, there's a new way to do so. Greg, tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. Yeah. As of about an hour ago, there's now a 7-day free trial option. There is still the 1 month for $1. We're still doing that, but you can choose between the two. We've had a lot of people ask us, like, why do you require the dollar? So we've made a change now. You can pick which one works for you the best. So if you're looking to get started, you can do so without even a card now. So just go to the sign up, get started now button, and it'll take you right there. So we're excited about that. Hopefully it helps a few more people try us out.
All right, fantastic. So yeah, if you haven't done so yet, highly recommend you get started with a trial of AttractWell, fully expanded and available features available at the dollar for your first month. But yeah, if you're looking for a no information, no obligation, just kind of get in and poke around, you can now do that for free. All right, thank you so much for that. So we're going to pop out a video. You guys head over into the chat and let us know where you're coming in from and what you are working on this week. It's always exciting to hear from you guys and for you guys to connect with each other. We've got such an incredible community here that we feel so blessed to be able to serve and support. So today, as mentioned, we're talking about how to create and use a swipe file for fast and effective content creation. Again, this is probably going to be dissimilar from anything that you have heard of about swipe files before. So again, if you're familiar with swipe files as a concept, you probably aren't doing what we're going to be sharing with you here today. And the thing is that we've actually created the resource for you to use. So you don't have to even go set this up yourself. It's already set up and ready to go. And I'm going to show you how to get into it here today. So welcome. Excited to have you here today. We meet every Thursday at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time. And today we are talking about how you can level up your content with a swipe file. We'll get into your checklist and resources. And of course, as always, we will get into live help and Q&A. So if you came here with questions, whether they pertain to today's topic of discussion or not, I welcome you to add those to the Q&A. Our chat can get a little busy, so we don't want to miss anything that you put here in as questions. So put those into the Q&A and we will get to them. You've got me and Greg here on those. And of course, if you are watching this as a replay, please come join us. We are live every Thursday at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time. And this is a great opportunity to learn live, but also to be able to get hands-on help. If you'd like to work together with hands-on help on a call like this one, we reserve the second half of these calls for this very purpose. So if you would like to reserve that space, go to attractwell.com/work-review and you can sign up for working together live, hands-on, getting into your account, asking questions, getting direct answers to your specific questions in this space here. So attractwell.com/work-review, and you'll be able to have dedicated time and space on an upcoming live call. And if you would like for someone to just do the work for you, we've got you covered there too. attractwell.com/concierge. It's where you want to go to learn about our team and set yourself up with a no obligation conversation. All right, now question for you guys, head over into the chat and let me know, where do you find inspiration for your content? When you are sitting down to create your next blog post or your next email to your list, what are you consulting? Where are you going? If you're creating podcasts, where are you getting your idea for your next episode? Or if you're creating video, where is that inspiration coming from? What does this look like for you? Or are you someone who is just getting started with this and maybe you're not sure where to look? We'll get into that today here as well. Oh, daily life. Awesome. Notes you've taken. AI. Excellent. Yeah. All right. So keep that coming here. Yes, from your clients and your own challenges and successes. Fantastic. All right. So let's talk about swipe files. Swipe files are your personal inspiration library. And essentially all this is a collection of examples and ideas that inspire new content. Now, if you've been drawing so far from just your daily life and experience or your client work, that is all really great, but it's not necessarily guiding you toward making content better or more effectively. And that's where swipe comes in. Because swiping is essentially what it sounds like. You are swiping, you are grabbing something that you see, and you're placing it in an organized fashion, ideally, into a place that you can consult in the future to inspire future content. And so what this means is we're actually gathering swipe from our email inboxes, from influencers that we follow and we're inspired by. Headlines, again, that we see as being effective. Anytime you see something and you say, oh man, it'd be really cool if I did something like that, or I need to be talking to my people like that person's talking to their people, right? That kind of thing. That's what swipe is. We're seeing something that hits us effectively and we're grabbing it to reference later, right? So these are emails, headlines, subject lines, social posts, designs of funnels or pages of funnels or whatever, right? Generally speaking, if you see something and you say, ooh, they're doing that right. I need, like, there's some success leaving clues there. I need to grab that. That's what swipe is, right? So it's evidence of something that's effective, that stands out, and that you believe can inspire you to make your next content more effective. And ultimately, what we are doing is copying and pasting stuff that we see into a place that we can look later, right? That's what a swipe file is. But the practice of using a swipe file is not about copying. It's about adapting, right? It's about taking a great example and transforming that into something that works for your brand and, of course, for the people that you serve. So swipe files are really important for you because they save you time. So you don't have to start from scratch every single time. You need to create social posts. You need to create an email for your list. You need to create a blog post, YouTube video, etc., right? They also help you to spark creativity. If you ever feel stuck, this is exactly where you want to go. And it helps you to stay consistent, because what often happens is that we feel like it takes a lot of time, so we don't do it, or we feel blocked, so we don't do it. And so if we have those blocks out of the way, it's really easy to stay consistent and release good content. And the smart part about this, and this is why we are choosing to be informed by what's working now, this helps us work smarter. Right. So if we are collecting examples that are effective, especially, my gosh, if you are really into your niche, into your space, and you're maybe following other influencers or creators or thought leaders who are maybe a few steps ahead of you, if you aren't on their email list, you need to get on it today. They are sending you, as often as they send stuff out to social media and to your inbox, they are sending you a map of ideas for what you could be doing to make your work more effective, right? Now, if you're someone who needs a little help with writing engaging emails and posts to connect with your audience, or finding inspiration for your sales pages, your promotional campaigns, that next landing page you want to create, or even just taking all of the stuff that you see as ideas and organizing them for your future offers, right? If you're somebody who you see something and you say, ooh, that seems like a good idea, I should do that. You're doing one of two things. You're maybe saving a link that you might never go and look at again. Maybe you're grabbing a screenshot and you forget what it's for. Or possibly worse, you drop everything and you go try to do that thing right now, right? If this is you, you need a swipe file, and you need a swipe file that you're going to use in the correct way. So let's talk about how this works. Essentially, what you're doing is you are going through your daily life, except we are actually being very intentional here about going through our daily life, allowing ourselves to receive marketing, right? And this could mean that you're opted in, and I would obviously be mindful about how much you're opting in to however many people, because your inbox can get really crowded. But this is an important thing for you to keep an eye on if you want to get better at this, right? So if you see a subject line that catches your eye, copy and paste that into your swipe file. If you see a social post and you say to yourself, oh, wow, that's really good, I want to do something like that in the future, grab that, right? Grab a screenshot or save the image, put that into your swipe file. If you love the way an about section or a landing page is formatted that you see, add a screenshot, add a link to it, and add it to your swipe file, right? You're gathering all of this inspiration here for you to work with in the future. And if you spend 5 minutes a day adding this inspiration to your swipe file, you will absolutely never run out of great ideas to create new content or build the next page that you need on your site. And this is where we are talking about something that's fundamentally different from what some might think of as a swipe file. Originally, when I first started, swipe files over 15 years ago, This looked like maybe having a document, like a word processor document that I would just add to, and it was just dropping copy in there. And of course, this was before social media was what it was, so the images didn't really matter so much. And swipe, generally speaking, in the marketing world is copy that you can copy and paste, right? We're doing something that is more rich than that. We're doing something that is more dynamic than that, and it's going to help you do a lot more. We're talking about using an entire system for collecting inspiration and planning your content. And the cool thing is that we've already created it for you and it's free, right? So let's go check out your resources. Really excited to get into these with you. Greg has already shared a link to that checklist in the chat here. This is your swipe file starter checklist. What you'll find here is really just everything that you need to know, right? I'm going over what a swipe file is, and then talking about how you can claim the one that we've created for you, which I will show you in just a moment, and then kind of just going over the different elements of it, how to use it, where to find content, adding your content to your swipe file, and then using this on an ongoing basis, right? So let's go ahead and get into this. All you have to do, first, my recommendation, if you have not done so previously, if you don't have a free Trello account, get yourself a free Trello account, right? You do not need paid Trello for what I'm about to show you. I personally use paid Trello and I love it, but I do a lot with it, right? So this is a great starting point, and you do not need to pay for anything to utilize this. So let's go check it out. So what this is a board. This is a template. Let me go ahead and close this stuff up here. All right, so this is a template and it's going to look like this. It says create board from template. What you're going to do is click this button. And I'm going to be showing you actually how to utilize this based on the cards that I've already added here. And we'll get into that here in just a moment. But I'm going to go ahead and keep the title because this is your swipe file and content planner. And I'm going to go ahead and put that into my workspace here. When you're doing this, I would maybe uncheck keep cards because I don't think that the cards I have in here as examples are great for you, but definitely 100% keep the template cards. Okay, I'm going to keep the cards just so I can demo this effectively for you. So now you have your own Trello board, and you'll see that we have the first three columns are not filled with anything, and we'll get to why in just a moment. The reason why I have these on the left-hand side is because these are actually going to wind up being the most important ones that you're dealing with, right? Like these are going to pertain to your of the moment, most recent stuff. This is all gathering. And this is all action, right? So this is where you put your content ideas when you're ready to start executing them or you're planning out what you're going to do next. When you're actively creating content based on what you have in your cards, you're going to put it into this category here. And then, of course, when something is scheduled or published, you'll move it right over here. Now, I have these four main sort of buckets here in these columns. And that's for your email, because we all have to send out emails to nurture our list, for social media posts, because that's necessary as well, long form content such as YouTube, podcasts, blog posts, and then website copy and design ideas. So this is where you're going to capture ideas for all of these different types of things. And what I've done is I have a template where it says this card is a template. I have a template for each type of content. So let's just use an example in a different screen. I am going to go open up my email and find an email subject line. And this is actually the one that we sent out to you guys earlier today. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to come over here to add a card to my email ideas. So I'm going to go here and create from template. That's the email ideas template. And I'm going to put subject line. And then I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to create a card. Now, what you're going to notice is there are, if we go and open this up, there are checklists on these cards, and they're slightly different for each of these cards. This one, of course, is for the email one. And I've put the subject line here. I can specify where this is from. So this is from AttractWell. And then I can maybe add some more notes here. Use this type of headline to announce boot camp calls next month, right? There you go. And since I'm referencing when I want to use this, I'm just going to go ahead and use the dates upgrade here. And I'm going to, so next month is the boot camp. So I'm just going to go ahead and make my date here for next month. Okay, so I've begun by copying and pasting my subject line and body copy, if applicable, into this card. So I have attached, I've done that. I've checked it off. And then I'm going to apply labels to indicate categories for this content. Now, I'm referring to things like your content silos, or basically the top level topics that you might be addressing as a brand with your content. But I also want to have tags for things that I might be looking for in content. So things like call to action or urgency or storytelling, or maybe a specific type of audience that this might be for, if it's sort of a subcategory of audience that you are serving. So let me look at labels here real quick with you and show you. We've got a lot of them that are pre-made. I'll show them all here. Unfortunately, they don't show in the order that I created them. They just kind of move around. But you can actually see here that I've got color codes for each of these. So I have email here. And I want to also maybe say that because this is a call to action, and I want to use this as an example of a call to action, I'm going to go ahead and apply that tag here as well. Maybe urgency. And obviously pretending that this is about a particular topic that I write about. Maybe this is productivity is one of my topics. So I'm going to go over here and rename my content silo tag. So this is about productivity. So here's an idea that pertains to a topic that I speak on often, right? And maybe the email has good storytelling. Maybe I'm just going to go ahead and click that too. And of course, if it is storytelling, you're going to want to give more than just a subject line, right? So I'm going to remove that because it's not applicable here. All right, so I've done that. I've applied labels. And then I can eventually, I'm going to move this over to my content ideas column when I'm ready to use in my content planning. Now, I am going to go ahead and do that because I have this specific plan to use this in February, and we are in January right now. So I'm going to move this card over here to content ideas. And you can see that it was an email initially, but we still need that email tag because we need to be able to see email here. And you also can click and it will hide the text in these if you prefer that look, right? So now that this is over here, maybe I want to go ahead and gather some of my other ideas because I'm going to be sitting down and I'm planning my work time for next week. Maybe I want to revise my testimonial section on my homepage. I took a screenshot from the AttractWell website. That's what I'm using as an example here. I've put the URL to where I got this from. And of course, I do need to make sure that I apply labels here. This is a design label. And let me see if there are any others that apply. I think for design, I don't really have a lot in the way of labels, just because this is really just about the website, right? And there's not a lot of variability there, like there would be with like types of content that you might create, which is mostly what this board is for. So I've got my label there. I've got my information here, and I'm going to plan next week to edit the testimonial section of my website. And I'm using this as inspiration. And maybe I do want to have like some storytelling as a label here, because maybe I like the way that the stories are told. So let me go and find that one. Show more. And you could always create new labels if you want to standardize how you're categorizing stuff. And this is why the filters are really important. You see there's a filters button right up here at the top. When we click this, we can actually choose to look for something very specific. So maybe I want to find something that is just about email. So now it's going to only show me email content on the board. Maybe instead of email, I want to find something that is just maybe a different type of tag. So maybe something that gives a good call to action, examples of call to action, right? And no matter where they are on the board, you're going to be able to see those actions here. So if you're looking for inspiration in that direction, you're going to be able to locate that pretty quickly, right? So as we are working on our content, so let's just say this one, for instance, we want to use this one to write the next, we're going to write a campaign for our boot camp that we're offering next month. So I'm going to be creating this, a campaign based on the copy that I've collected here. And so as I've got that done, I'll be working on that while it's here. Again, this is just a way for you to be able to see this is what's coming up, this is what's in progress. And then ultimately, once I've got that campaign created with this copy used, I might mention specifically the name of it in here so that I could go back and reference it in my AttractWell account. I'm going to go ahead and check these boxes off. I've moved it to content ideas. I moved it to drafts. And of course, I'm making changes. And then once it's scheduled, we're going to move it over to the scheduled and published column, which is right here. And then of course, when it's ready to publish, I'm going to go ahead and check that off. So we can see when this goes live. So when I used this content, and we can see that we have completed the process. And so these checklists are in place for every one of these template cards that are here for these different types of content, right? And so as you are out there in the world and you find something compelling, you want to grab it, you want to use that for inspiration, you're going to be able to do that. So let's just go really quickly over to, we'll just go to the AttractWell website. And maybe I like this lead magnet section. So I'm going to screenshot this section here. Maybe I like the subject matter. I like the call to action. So I'm going to come over here back to my board. And this is for website copy and design. I'm going to click create from template, create the website copy and design. I'm going to use that template. And then this is going to be a lead magnet section on homepage. I create the card. Now I can open it up. I can add the content. So I just took a screenshot. So I can find that and pop that right in here. There we go. And I'm going to go to my labels. And this is for design, of course. And let me go and show more labels. We could pretend that maybe my other content silo, I've got productivity. Maybe this one is for stress management. And I'm going to check that one, right? So that's going to give me inspiration for a lead magnet that I might use or some kind of content that's related to this thing that I'm going to be writing about. Is this making sense? Right? So we put that here and then we're going to leave it there, right? Now this doesn't go to your to-do list. Right? Exactly, Sandy. Out of sight, out of mind. And that's what a lot of ideas become, or out of sight, out of mind. And that's actually not bad that it can be out of sight and out of mind, because we need to make sure that what is in sight and on the mind are the things that are intentional and actionable in our business right now, this week, this quarter, right? So it may be that you like this idea, but it doesn't mean you need to do anything with this right now. Right? But when you sit down and you do your planning, you can go and you can take a look at all of this and say, all right, I'm going to plan to do this. And actually, I'm going to do that when I do this. So when am I going to do my homepage, my testimonial section? I'm just going to go ahead and work on both of these things in the same week. So I'm going to go ahead and apply a date here. I'm going to set that up for the week of 24. And I'm going to go ahead and save this one for the same date. So now I know I can group my work together. These are both homepage things. I'm going to do both of these on the same day, right? And then once I start doing it, I move it over, right? And then once it's done, I move it over here, right? And now the things that you've done in the past, they don't disappear, right? You're still able to, for things that you've completed, go and filter, right? For exactly what you're looking for. Go and find the things that are specifically relevant to what you are looking for right now, because maybe you've decided that this week of the month, you are talking about, I know, content silo topic 3, and you have ideally gone and just filled this thing up to the brim where there is just a dizzying amount of content in here. And then you're going to be using these filters, right? Then you're going to be able to just zoom in and say, okay, content silo 3. What all have I gathered as inspiration, right? And then you can maybe go look at your calls to action or your subject lines in your emails and say, okay, which of these things is really speaking to me right now, right? So that is how you use this. It's not just about gathering stuff. It's about gathering it intentionally, right? It's about gathering it and placing filterable tags on it. That's what all these little color codes are, for you to be able to then search for that specific type of thing down the road It's not just about gathering the copy itself. It's about getting the screenshots, adding notes for yourself about maybe how you want to contextualize this, right? So lots of stuff that you can do with this. Really excited to hear how you would like to put this to work in your business. And of course, if you have questions, I would love for you to pop them into the Q&A, and we could certainly take a look at any of that here together. Let's go take a look here real quick in the meantime, and we'll work through an example. So starting here, and let's just kind of talk about this for a moment about where you are actually going to want to find your content. If you've got subject lines in your inbox that speak to you, this isn't always necessarily going to be at the perfect intersection of relevant to your content, like the outcomes you deliver for clients and what your clients' interests are, but it might just be worded really well, right? Subject lines in your inbox are a fantastic place to start. If it got you to act, chances are it could get someone else to act too, right? Especially if you're newer and you're still kind of developing your copy, your voice for your brand. It really helps to be well informed by others that are leading the charge, that are already established in the space that you want to occupy, right? So use that. It's sort of a competitive advantage to keep an eye out and then utilize what you're seeing as inspiration, right? So you can screenshot ads or posts that you admire that look good on your feeds, definitely on websites, their page layouts. And then of course, you can pull phrases or testimonials from review sites as well, or even reviews that are left on competitor websites, right? So if there are other people who do what you do and you know that they're doing it at a high level, what they have on their website, what they have on their social is representative of what's working, right? So use that in your swipe files. And then you're going to use the templates to add content. And then here's how I want you to use this moving forward. I want you to look through your emails, the email ideas, social media posts, the other swipe columns, and then drag them over when you're ready. But most importantly, I want you to make sure that you are adding to this every day. Spend about 5 minutes a day adding to this, right? And then you're going to look through when it's time to figure out what it is that you want to use to create. And then you can move forward from there. So let's just pretend as an example, and this might be an example where you have an idea for a post and you're going to use swiped from several places. So maybe you want to write about stress reducing techniques for busy professionals. This is not a compelling blog title, but what this is a blog post idea. So I'm going to call it that. And I'm going to open it up and go to labels. And here's blog post. And now what I can do is I can go out and I can read posts and I can copy and paste some inspiration into here. I can look for content, subject lines, images, all kinds of things that are out there, and the things that speak to me, I can collect on this card, right? So it's not just I see a thing, I put it in here. This can also be a part of your iterative process for developing copy and ideas for your content. So if you know that you want to talk about this topic for sure on your blog, and you want to get some inspiration, instead of just going and reading 20 blog posts, go and say, oh, I love the way they put that. Or, oh, they reference that study. I want to make sure I grab that study and take a look at it because I might be able to reference that as well, right? Oh, I like the way they use that image. I wonder if there's something similar I might be able to use, right? That's the idea. You're grabbing inspiration to put here. And of course, you're building out you're filling out this checklist as you go along. And of course, once you're ready to do this, so maybe it's time to blog, time to do your blog post for the quarter. So then I'm going to go and find all of the blog post ideas that I have. Of course, you're going to have a lot more than this because you're going to be adding ideas every day. And of course, you'll be able to then go move this over to your content ideas and get yourself on the road to creation. So let's just pretend that it is time to do that. Here's my stress reducing techniques for busy professionals. I'm going to move that over to my content ideas because I'm actively working on this. I want to actually see about publishing this next month. And now, because this is over here in the ideas that I'm actively working on, I am going to go and do my research. And when I find a maybe a blog post. Let's go find one. So let's see, stress management for busy people. I'm going to go find something good. Stress management for busy people. Here, I want to find, how about this one? The Busy Person's Guide to Reducing Stress. I love this as a subject line. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to, go over here to this card, and I'm going to paste this. Actually, let me paste plain text this. And this is from here, copy, here, paste. That's where I got it from, right? Now let's see what I like about this. I like a lot about this. Maybe I am most interested in these 4 steps, or 5, 4, 5, yes, 5. Okay, so I'm going to copy these. Copy. And I'm going to paste. All right. And maybe I want to go find, I'm going to save this. I want to go find some images that work for me for this. So the first and easiest thing to do is, after you've searched it, is to just go to images. Ooh, that one's really cool. I like that. Let's see what else. Oh, this one's great. Hugging a dog. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to save to downloads. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to attach that image that I just downloaded right here onto the card. Excellent. Now I'm going to move it. It's in the content ideas. I'm going to go ahead and move this over to drafts because I'm working on this. All right. I'm ready. I'm ready to turn this into the blog post that I want. So here, I'm going to copy this. And I'm actually going to ask AI in AttractWell to take the points here and, and come up with something for me, right? So let's go actually begin writing a blog post. That's going to be under your blog posts here under website and blog. And we're going to write a post. Okay, so now let's begin with write with AI. So here I'm going to say, I am a wellness coach working with, let's just say I'm working with busy moms, juggling work, having kids, and wanting a social life to balance with family. I share insights to help her manage stress and incorporate holistic practices into her day so she has more energy and feels like she can do it all. And now I'm going to tell it to use the following blog post as inspiration to write a 1,000-word blog post for my own audience. Include a compelling title. And I'll also say, provide a call to action at the end to book a free call with me to learn my top 2 stress busting techniques. How about that? She can use anytime. All right, perfect. So right. Oh, oops, I didn't paste. Let me copy this real quick. And I need to, here we go. I need to paste. let's go back. Obviously, we need to paste everything that we want into our prompt. There we go. So this now has everything. So here's who I am. This is what I want. Okay. Okay. Now let's see what it will do. So what I did again is I gave it some context. Here's who I am. This is who it's for. This is how they know me. Here's your inspiration. I want you to write a 1,000-word blog post, and I want you to transition into a call to action to get on a call with me, because that's what your content is for. Here we go. Mastering balance, a stress-free life for busy moms. Excellent. Oh, I love this. See, it's contextualizing all of this straight to your ideal client, and it's giving that call to action. So let's go add to editor. And now all we have to do is modify these headlines, and then of course, get this set up the way that you want it to. So there's mastering balance, stress-free life for busy moms. Excellent. Let me delete that because it's in the subject, the title. And then here in each of these cases, we are going to be creating an H2. So this is going to be an H1. That's like just sort of background code. It tells Google what your main subjects are. So that's our top one. So we're going to go down here to paragraph formatting and use heading 2 for this one. And then we're just going to do that for each of our paragraphs. Right? So we'll do this for each to format this blog post. Of course, add images where you like. Certainly recommend doing that. And then down here at the bottom, you want to include your call to action, obviously clicking here to go off to schedule a call with you, however it is that you would like to set this up. And so once you've got this, maybe this is a draft that you're saving. Let's just make sure that this is a draft in progress, right? And so we know maybe we aren't even ready to publish this yet, because the next thing that we need to do is go create an image, because we don't want to use somebody else's image for this. But this is our inspiration image. We do have this in progress, right? Does that make sense? Really, really excited about hearing from you guys and seeing what you plan to do with this. Sandy says, I'm going to use this for ideas for my next book. Ooh, I love that. Awesome. Diamond, how did you use it? Tell me more. Brandy, let's see. Shoot me an email. I would be more than thrilled. I think I have an entire template for that purpose that I could give you. That would be very relevant to your use cases. Yeah, just let me know. Let me see. This will help you clean out your inbox of ideas, as well as create a place for all the screenshots sitting on the desktop. Yes, and all those ideas you've forgotten about because you filed them. Yep, that is exactly right. Doing something like this, just honestly, if you could just commit this as a habit. So spend an intentional 5 minutes a day doing this. Sometimes it's just going to happen naturally. You know, when you check your email, when you're on social media, when you are Googling and looking for things, just start putting on the hat of somebody who is not a consumer, but a creator, right? And if you're a creator, you are always looking at how other creators are creating, right? Always looking for how other people are doing things and getting inspiration, right? Artists don't just get inspired by their own brain. They're inspired by the world around them. Creators are inspired by other creators. So make sure that as you are consuming, you aren't just doing so as a consumer, but you're doing so in a conscious way, and placing that in context against how you know you would like to be showing up, right? Do I have the Trello app on my phone? I typically prefer to not work from my phone. So typically I don't use that on the phone. I do work from an iPad though. Like when I'm not at this monster computer, I do work from an iPad, and I 100% use the app. And actually there's a desktop app for Trello as well, on the Mac at least. And I love that. I think that works really well. Yeah, hey, so you know what, since we're here and we have some time, let me actually see if I have an example that I can share with you first, because I don't want to share anybody's sensitive information here. But let me find I think No, that's not it. I know I've had here's a program planner that I've definitely used in the past. I just want to make sure I'm not showing anybody else's stuff because I do have like active client boards here. So let's see if this, okay, this would be one for a course. And I actually share this in the How to Build Your course. So let's go take a look at this board. Okay. So I have this set up, and I cover this in, if you want to see and how to build your online course slash private client dashboard slash group program, everything that you could possibly build in a Vault and AttractWell. That's this guy right here. I do have a walkthrough of this and a template for this very exact planner right here. So this is for mapping out what you are offering. So we have a master checklist here where I give you all the steps that I recommend following, beginning with outlining your program and then moving into branding and all these other things. So we've got a master checklist for this. We've got branding, and this also has like pre-stocked, like linked. Let me show you here. These are actually Canva templates that are the size is like, preset for all of its use purposes in AttractWell. If you're creating something to sell in an AttractWell Vault, you need this. And it's free if you go right here to how to build your everything, and it's in there, right? And yeah, absolutely, Angela, I will be talking about this on our workshop in a couple of days here for sure. All right, let me come back over here. Okay, so yeah, this is how I set this up, right? So once you have decided, you've got your outline together. I do have some templates that are here in a list. We've got our development for frameworks, and frameworks are going to be like visual tools, worksheets, workbooks, etc., that you might use in your course or program. So you've got a list of what you'll be building here. So for instance, if I am, maybe I'm a wellness coach, I am offering a program for women who are maybe in their 30s and 40s, they're experiencing a loss of energy. They don't know that the answer is hormones or that their diet is bothering them, but they are somebody who wants to feel more energetic. So I am going to share with her a meal tracker, meal and symptom tracker. And so I'm going to create one of those, right? That's going to be inside of this framework development. And then maybe I'll talk about that over here in lesson 2 of module 1, where we are identifying the foods that we're eating that might be zapping your energy, right? So yeah, I plan those out, and then there are checklists for each of these. And so this would be an example. So if you wanted to, if you are working, for instance, Brandy or Sean, on if you're working on this collaboratively, so if you have a private client and you're building something like this together with them, then there can be more than one of you on a given board. And of course you can at each other and provide feedback, comments, etc. Right? So if I come here, I can say at whoever, right? Ask questions, answer questions, attach files, and so on, right? So this is collaborative. So if I were building a program with someone, then I would create a board like this. I would title it for their program. I would add them to it, and then we would go through this together, right? And the other way that you can look at this as well is, and this is really, again, this is more for how you would use this with a private client. If you are doing done for you services, that's really where I see the value in this, is a done for you services interaction. So if I want somebody, if I wanted to, for instance, like redesign a website, right? Then I might have a couple of columns like this that maybe have branding inspiration, right? Sections of websites, color palettes, font combinations, just kind of gathering, just like we did with the swipe file, having them gather things that they're inspired by. So we have that maybe in a single column for inspiration. Maybe we're using those tags to help kind of filter those things down. And then we might have one of these per page for the site, right? where you're going to have these different processes. It just kind of depends on how you work with them back and forth. But again, I wouldn't, if you're like a wellness coach, like the majority of you here, unless you're working with other people on done for you services, like if you're building their website, or you're building their member area and you need them to provide you with a great volume of copy and images in an organized place, this is bomb for that. But it's overkill and like redundant otherwise, because in all other cases where, for instance, you are working with a client on tracking metrics that are important to them, the better move is going to be utilizing in AttractWell. All of this would just be in AttractWell. Let me find me. Here we go. So if this was my client, I might have them in a private client dashboard, right? They might be in their own vault, but in that vault, they would be able to see this information that we're tracking. And so what I would ask of them is that they watch the video in the vault and leave their questions for me there, and then do, you know, these things, right? Fill out what their feedback is for these. So again, using a Trello board to work with a client, I don't really see a lot of utility in unless you are needing to get a good volume of copy and images from them that are all organized in the same place. So yeah, just context. Glad that that helps. And yeah, Brandy, for what you do, because I know what you do, for people that you are building stuff for, I think Trello is absolutely indispensable, just as a place to gather all of that. But if you are a wellness, if you're wellness focused, if you're business focused and you don't do done for you services, like if you're coaching, then I would use Trello for your own organizational purposes. So think like your content planning, like this, your project planning, but you would be able to just stick with the free Trello, I think, for the majority of us here. So the boot camp that I'm running right now is on our other platform. Can you tell me a little bit more, Maria, about what you're interested in learning more about? And I'm happy to help you. If that's a good oiling specific thing, then we might be able to get you connected with that, but we are several weeks into it at this point. Okay, so for a business promotion, so celebrating number of years in business, or even for my book as it's published, where I have multiple ideas for social media, swag, promo items, email videos, reels, etc. Could I create separate boards under the main topic, or just keep it as one and copy into the ideas card as I start working on it? So I think that what I would do in your case is I would keep everything in the same board, because you're probably going to be swiping to get there, right? Here, let me see if I can get back over to my, come on now. Okay. All right, so I would still use this because it is a content planner. I would just make sure, Sandy, in your case, that you are going in and you're looking at your email ideas, or you're adding a new card or what have you, and then just make sure that the, and let me just create one here from template. So book release. And what I would do is just make sure that you create a label that's specifically for that use case. So if you have something that's like super specific, so if this is about a book launch, then I would create a new label and I would call it book launch and apply it to everything content wise that's related to that. Now, if you are somebody who would use marketing materials outside of social media posts, emails, long form content, website copy and design, you could potentially create another list here. And so this might be miscellaneous, or we could call this, I think you said, swag. I don't know, we just call this swag. And then I would create a template card for this. So I'll start maybe with an existing one, and we'll call this a swag, swag template. And then I would just go in and change the checklist. So this would be a swag ideas checklist, copying and pasting. Yeah, so you would just modify this. And then ultimately I would turn this into a template so that as you're gathering ideas for swag, you have a place to put it, right? Because this is kind of a fundamentally different category, but all of these are means for promotion, right? So if it falls into something for your website, put it under the website column and call it, like, use that book launch tag, right? If it's long form content, it's about your book, add the book tag. If it's a social media post, email, etc. But pens or bookmarks or whatever, that's going to be, I think, a fundamentally different category. So I might just create a new column for something like that specifically. And that way you don't have to go and create an entirely new board. You're still dealing with the iteration of content ideas. Maybe you're looking out in the world, and in this case, you're grabbing pictures from places where you've seen, really great swag ideas, and you're gathering those here for when you launch a book, right? So that's how I would handle that. Okay. I don't know what a workspace command run is in Trello or an advanced checklist. I don't. I have paid Trello. But the reason I have paid Trello is because a function of the work that I do means having lots of boards where I have, like I mentioned before, I would have boards like the one I showed you for the perennial program that I collaborate with clients on. And once you have like more than just you inside of a workspace, it will, you'll start to reach the upper bounds of a free Trello plan, right? So if you need multiple people on a team, if you want to be able to make your boards templates, I think that that's a paid feature as well. So there are some benefits to it, and it's not crazy expensive. It's a little over $100 a year. But again, I would just start with the free and just use the heck out of the free and just get so much value out of just this basic functionality of this. And then as you see a need, then it might make sense to upgrade. I don't look at this as a business upgrade being essential in the same way that I look at Canva Pro being basically essential. If you have your own website, you have your own social media, and you do not have a full-time person hired to manage all of that stuff all the time for you, then you need Canva Pro, in my view. Trello is a bit different, right? Like you could actually get away with free Trello for a very long time, I think. But once you decide to start using it, there's just an absolute ocean of possibility in terms of like the things you can do with it. Awesome. Do we have any more questions before we get going? Diamond, if you have questions about your website or like, how you're moving along with that, definitely recommend that you go to attractwell.com/work review. Sign yourself up, and we could sit down and talk about this as soon as next Thursday. We can actually dedicate the second half of this call to sitting down and working through any of the things that you might feel stuck on together. So whether that's figuring out where images go or making it look good on mobile or where the words go or what you say, like we can work on any of that here together. So yeah, if you just attractwell.com/work review, and that's an opportunity to actually work together one-on-one live. Another option, if a future Thursday is not in the cards for you, let me show you real quick where you can go. That's over here under your Success Academy. So when you're logged into AttractWell, here's your dashboard. This is what you see when you log in. There we go. When we go to Success Academy, there is an option here that will allow you to get help from a real person. And it's real, actually real, a real human. So you can email a human here. You can say hello to the entire group of humans in our Facebook group. You can get in touch with our team to potentially have them hire you. This is to get onto these calls, which you're already on. This is the one I'm recommending for you if you want to chat with me next week. And there may be time in between now and then where typically Pam, who is not only an expert in AttractWell, but knows a great deal about graphic design and copy. Like she is excellent at making websites. She runs calls as well that are smaller and more action oriented. So whereas I am teaching concepts, right, and doing more high level stuff and then spending as much time as we can digging into the details, these are just details calls, right? And they're shorter and they're more targeted. And so that might be an option as well. You're welcome to do both. And we look forward to helping you. Awesome. Thank you guys for your great questions. I hope that you get so much out of this resource. Be sure to let us know what else you'd like to learn. We look forward to serving you like this on another call in the future. And yeah, be sure to take advantage of that opportunity to work together here live. We certainly look forward to helping you. All right. Have a great week, everybody. See you next time.